Welcome to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast, where you can learn and be inspired by real-world examples of how technology is transforming businesses and reshaping industries in a language everyone can understand. Here is your host, Neil C. Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast. Now, as you all know by now, or at least I hope you do, I love getting you all to think differently about how technology is transforming every aspect of your life and everywhere you turn, whether you're in the workplace or watching a concert or a sporting event and food is ordered from a mobile app and delivered to your seat as you connect to Wi-Fi, made possible by over 1,000 wireless access points that are hidden out of sight. For the most part, we take all that stuff for granted. It just happens behind the scenes. But I want you to open up your curious minds and learning more about how it all works. And today, I want to explore the world of hospitality. And for example, over the last 2 years, it's no secret that the industry was decimated. And I think in Las Vegas alone, there were 150,000 empty hotel rooms at the height of the pandemic. But Meliá Hotels International anticipated an entire industry shift, and they knew that demand for travel would soon hit record levels following the pandemic, as people would be desperate for a holiday in the sunshine and swimming in the ocean, etc. So to accommodate that demand, they set out to deliver frictionless guest experiences that met their guests on the mobile and online platforms in which they interact. And ultimately, it led to them accelerating their digital transformation and migrating all of its critical applications to the cloud. And it was this proactive approach to meet future customer demands and expectations that inspired me, especially as their tagline is "Welcome to the place where everything has a soul." So for me, it was how they leveraged technology while maintaining a human-centric approach and wanting to deliver unique experience. And because of all that, I invited them on the podcast today to find out more about their story. So with the scene set, buckle up and hold on tight as I beam your ears all the way to Mallorca in Spain, where Christian Palomino from Meliá Hotels International is going to share their digital transformation story. So a massive warm welcome to the show, Chris. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are, what you do, and maybe share your origin story and what it was that put you on this path you're on today?
Well, I'm Global IT Vice President at Meliá Hotels International. I've been here since 23 years ago. That's a whole journey. Yes, and I've been in charge of IT since 10 years ago, since beginning 13. So it's been very interesting. Meliá was founded in 1956 here in Palma de Mallorca, where we are based, by Gabriel Escarrer, our president, with the opening of its first hotel. And we are the first hotel group in Spain, third in Europe, 16th worldwide, and the biggest leisure-focused chain in the world. Leisure is our main industry. Well, here I went well. Leisure is our main focus, and although we have many city hotels, we always look for giving an extra experience of the city where the hotel is based. So always leisure or business travel with leisure in it.
And we've talked on this podcast about how much the world has changed in the last 2 years, especially around people's expectations. And I also always try and get people thinking differently about areas that they don't associate with technology. For example, it is the summer season. Many people will be staying in Meliá Hotels, at Meliá Hotels International. So what intrigued me about what you're doing, and one of the reasons I invited you on the podcast, was to share the story behind how you almost anticipated an industry shift with demand for travel hitting record levels following the pandemic. So can you just expand on that and that shift that you've seen?
Yes, we were really expecting this to happen. People was really willing to travel again, to go to the beach again, meet other people, their close ones, the people they love and weren't close. And business also. People were also be willing to do face-to-face meetings, meet each other and close with a handshake deals. So we were really expecting this, although we've been through really dark times in our industry for 2 years. And this is something that made us think a lot on how we could use technology around that, how to adapt to those, to that dark age, and at the same time be ready for this amazing season we are having this year. This is being a record year, record summer here in the Northern Hemisphere. And we expect also a record autumn post-season with meeting and events growing very, very, very fast.
And kudos to you, because you did just that. And to accommodate this demand and deliver these almost frictionless guest experiences that people expect, and meeting guests on the mobile and online platforms on which they interact, etc. Your hotels have accelerated digital transformation by migrating all of its critical applications to the cloud. So for anyone, if anyone listening, to help them take a peek under the hood at how technology will make hotels run, etc., can you tell me more about that and how this new customer demand and expectations and made you turn to technology to help exceed them?
Yeah, sure. Because although we are a very human-centric company, we deliver very personalized experience on site in the hotels, in places where we like to take care of our places and the people working over there in different countries, in different cultures. So we're very human-centric. But at the same time, Meliá Hotels has always seen the opportunity in technology to make those human relations and human experiences even better. In fact, we were the first European company in allowing to book online through our Meliá.com webpage back in the 90s. And nowadays, what we were seeing is both in a pre-pandemic world, people were already starting to want to access everything, everywhere, easily, when they want, whenever they want. And at the same time, during the pandemic, we've had these safety situations. In some cases, people didn't want to have a one-to-one contact with staff in the hotel. So we accelerated through our mobile channel and online channels all of the processes in the hotel, so they can be requested online through the mobile app or through the website. So you can check in online, you can check out online, you can ask for sandwich, cocktail, whatever you feel like, in the pool, in the restaurant, in your room, through the mobile app or through the website. In order to power that, you need a really adaptable technology. We are not in the same situation where we were 20 years ago, where everything was really predictable in terms of which demand you were going to have in any moment. When you want to respond to your customer, wherever he is, whenever he wants, you need to be able to respond to high peaks of demand and at the same time to be efficient when the demand is low. And cloud is basic for that. That's the main transformation we've done through these 2 years. We revamped our website. We just launched the new Meliá.com a few weeks ago. We added many functionalities to the mobile app, and we are launching a new mobile app by the end of this year. And we changed everything into the cloud so we can respond to all of our customers wherever they want, whenever they want.
And just to bring to life everything that you've just said there, can I ask that you expand on how this new cloud-native environment actually gave you the agility that you needed to release better digital functionality faster and ultimately enable your guests to access more of your services via mobile, web platforms, or wherever your customers are? Because that's where the magic happens, isn't it? It's all for the consumers.
Yeah, you're right. And you really need to use artificial intelligence and automate everything you can in order to do that. So if you expect to have people working in the back of your IT, responding to adding more servers or more memory or more disk capacity or more process, it's impossible. So you need to use artificial intelligence and be able to duplicate, expand your technology footprint as the demand grows, and at the same time reduce it when the demand is going down. So you need to have the technology that detects changes on your environment, be it what the guests are doing, be it the demand that's arriving from a different place, being the resources that are consumed in your technology, in your architecture. So you need to see everything and respond automatically to what's happening. So you reduce the need of having persons looking at it 24/7.
And I suspect for most leaders listening around the world to this podcast today, your story will really resonate with them. And if they're much earlier on in their transformation strategy, they'll probably feel incredibly overwhelmed and daunted by the the road ahead and wondering where to begin in meeting their customers' expectations, etc. So on that side of things, can you tell me a little bit more about the importance of not going it alone and having that right tech partner to accompany you and progress forward by your side?
Of course, anybody knows your business better than the people you have in your business, but there's people that knows a lot more about technology out there than the people working in a non-technology company as we are. We are a hotel company. So you need to choose very well the technologies and the partners that work aligned with your goals and with your mission and strategy. In this case, we have many companies and many technologies helping us. And relating to what we were talking before, one of them is Dynatrace, which allow us to see everything that's going on in our technology. And it doesn't just see it, it reacts to it. So you can very easily, on one side, know what's going on in your technology. At the same time, you can very easily automate reactions to what's going on because it has a very, very powerful artificial intelligence. And third, but more strategically important, because what I said is more operative, you can understand which troubles your customers are facing when they are dealing with the digital channels. Because it's not only that, okay, I'm having trouble with my memory because I have some processes consuming a lot of memory and so increase your memory instances. It's also, okay, people is stopping their reservations here whenever they found this situation. So there's something going out here and you are not being very responsive to them for some reason. So those kind of insights are great for the people in sales and marketing. So we improve the relationship with our customers. Not only we make sure it's fast, it's flexible, it's responsive, but we make sure it's smooth. They don't find friction on the relationship. Another benefit is that it's not only that your people is less focused on working on hands-on resolving issues because they are automatically response. They don't have to find the problem. It's automatically given to them. They can be working in more added value. And we've reduced to 25% the time to market of our releases. So we are doing 5 tickets of new functionalities in 5 times the tickets of functionalities in our releases that we were doing before. And this is very powerful.
And in the last few years, we've had people from Dynatrace on the podcast, from the techies to the CEO. So we've talked a lot about deep observability and advanced AIOps capabilities and so much more. So I think most people listening will know all about Dynatrace. But can you tell me more how it's helped you detect any, anomalies in Meliá's infrastructure before they create issues for the customer experience? Because again, that's where the magic is. By the time someone's a customer's logged a problem or raised an issue with you, it's almost too late, isn't it?
Yes, I totally agree with you. And I always put an example. This last Black Friday, it was the first Black Friday I hadn't been woke up between 1 a.m. and 6 a.m. I've always had a call on the night of the Black Friday because something went wrong, service stopped, whatever. And it took us at least hours to fix it. And it's a key time. It's a key time for us in sales. One of the things we have now is that before it happens, it sees it's coming. With Dynatrace, it sees, we know it's coming, but even more, we react to it. We duplicate our infrastructure, automatically. So we get a warning that something's going on and may affect the customers. Automatically, we put a solution to the problem, but we can get someone looking into it to see if it's going to scale or not going to scale. And the information is in the same place. So it's not looking different machines, different servers, different applications. You have everything there and you can see all that's going on.
And for any business leaders that are listening to this podcast today and they're learning the hard way that by the time a support ticket is raised, it is already too late. I'm curious, is there any advice that you would offer to them, that, especially if they're considering following in your footsteps? Are there any big lessons that you've learned along the way?
You're totally right. Once you get a ticket, there's a customer problem. So you don't want to be there because maybe you've lost the customer forever. And it's very difficult to get them back. So first thing, do the right thing when you move into the cloud. When you digitalize your company, use new architectures, microservices, multi-cloud. Be sure that you automate and reduce problems. And monitoring. You need to monitor to know what's going on and be able to respond automatically to things going on. Your landscape is changing. When you build something on the cloud and you do it natively, you use the capabilities of the cloud to escalate and reduce and be efficient. Your baseline is shifting. You have your architecture growing, shrinking, and everything is happening automatically. So you're not hands-on controlling what's going on. So there are many variables out there. It's not just the people connecting, it's your architecture is changing. So you need to have a top-of-the-art monitoring, end-to-end vision of what's going on in your architecture and automatically responding to it.
And of course, one thing that I think most people will agree with as well is a digital transformation is a journey, not a destination or a project that you can just tick, I've done that and move on. So my question to you now is, where do you go from here?
Well, we are really focusing on the stay. So we are still looking at on how to make a smoother stay to our customers and making sure that staff is focused on them and not on the sprint. So everything is going on very, 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 very smoothly. And we've implementing core data. So the same vision that the customer has on what's going on his mobile app, on the website, on the phone when he calls, on the staff. So the data is always the same. The conversation is always the same. Everything is one technology. That's key. So they don't care if they are talking to the front desk people, to a waiter, to the mobile app, or they are talking through WhatsApp to our channels.
And I've loved chatting with you today, but before I let you go, I always ask my guests to leave everyone listening with a personal note of inspiration. So I'm going to ask if you can leave us with a book that has inspired you, or maybe a favourite song that has inspired you too, and a reason for that. If it's a book, we'll add it to our Amazon wish list. If it's a song, we'll add it to a Spotify playlist. But is there anything you'd like to leave everyone listening with today?
There's a book, it's a fiction book, but it has something behind it. It's Dune. So I think there's a movie that's come out last year about that book. But the powerful thing about this book is much more in the future, so technologies are there, but it focused on the importance of the human power. So the story is about someone becoming a greater person and how managing himself and learning to manage the human side of everyone around him, he grows very fast and becomes very important. And at the same time, there's another thing that's very important for organizations and really has maybe lightened me in a cultural, in a organizational way, is how they manage the reactions of the society and people around them and groups around them with the need. So one of the things that I always say is very important when you want to transform something in your company is you need to create needs. So the needs create the wanting to change. You want to change when you have a need. And it's very clear in this book. So I find it really inspirational in this way.
What a great answer, and a great book too. And I'll be adding that to the wish list for other people to check it out. At least with the book, they get an ending. We obviously, the film last year kind of finished midway through the book, which was a little bit frustrating. But For anyone listening that just wants to find out more information about everything that you're doing here, how they can check out your hotels and the frictionless guest experiences that you're creating, what's the best starting point for everything? And how can they contact your team if they just want to find out more information?
Okay, well, there's my Twitter account, which is @ChrisPalomino. And you have all the Meliá accounts out there in many social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, etc. And you also have, of course, our website, www.meliá.com. We'll be there to answer you.
Well, I love what you've done here and how you've been so incredibly forward thinking, because the entire industry was decimated during the pandemic, but you saw what was coming in the very near future, and to accommodate that demand, you set out to deliver these frictionless guest experiences. But no, to meet those customer demands and expectations, you would need to digital transform and move critical applications to the cloud, and so much going on under the hood. But ultimately, you're a human-centric company, and I think that is so important. And I always say at the end of every episode, technology works best when it brings people together, and that's exactly what you're doing there. So thank you so much for sharing your story with me today.
Thank you, Neil. It's been a pleasure being here.
What a great story. And I love how a cloud-native environment allowed Meliá the agility that it needed to release better digital functionality faster. And in doing so, it enabled its guests to access more of its services via a mobile and a variety of web platforms. But I think it also highlighted the importance of a human-centric approach and the importance of choosing a support partner. In this case, I think it was Dynatrace as platform, and that deep observability and advanced AIOps capabilities that help them detect anomalies in their infrastructure before it created issues for customer experiences. And we said a few times there that if you're waiting until a support ticket is raised before doing anything about it, you're already too late. So I think when we combine all of that with their human-centric approach, it has all collectively enabled Meliá to ensure its digital services deliver the same quality experience as in-person interactions with hotel staff. And that's the cool stuff for me. And as I always say, the quote that I use far too often on this podcast is, the last great experience you have anywhere becomes your future expectation for what you expect everywhere. And if you're listening to me now in a Meliá Hotels International, I suspect you will have a new expectation. And what happens when you take that to another hotel chain in the future and it doesn't offer anywhere near the same kind of experience? And on that note, have you had a superior guest experience in a hotel, restaurant, anywhere at all? And has that raised the bar for you? I would love to hear your good examples of what has given you the wow factor and reset those expectations, and what just hasn't delivered, and ensure that you will never go back to that one again. Whatever it is, please email me now, techblogwriter@outlook.com, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, just @NeilCHughes. Let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear them. And today, of course, we've talked about hospitality, the hotel industry, and the technology behind it all, and how it's reimagining the customer experience. But what topic are we going to explore tomorrow? Well, we'll spin the wheel of fortune, which will determine what we talk about tomorrow. And if you want to know where it stopped, I invite you to join me again, and we'll do it. And we'll do it all again. But more than anything, just a big thank you for listening, as always. I appreciate each and every one of you. And until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thank you for listening to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast with Neil C. Hughes. Remember, technology works best when it brings people together.